We're live.
Live. Here we are.
Welcome to Soulful Talks with Ellen. You're my August soul. I'm so thrilled to have you here. I've known you for such a long time, about maybe 11 years. You're an amazing friend of mine. And
Thank you.
just to really get us going, tell us in 3-4 sentences, who is Simona?
All right. This is a very interesting challenge, the one that you have thrown away at me, because it's not very easy, right? I know it's live and it's not very easy to talk about yourself without sounding a little bit like bragging. Am I right? So thank you very much because you think I'm an interesting soul. Thank you for being my friend. Okay, you want me to describe myself in 3 or 4 sentences? Let's call them, not phrases, not clauses.
Okay,
At the moment, I'm someone with mascara in her left eye, so I hope that works because it's gonna turn all red. Yeah. So I have actually I've thought about this question, and I have 3 adjectives. Okay, 2 that refer more to my mind, and one which is refers to the rest. Let's say. So I think it's also something that I like about myself. I'm the eternal optimist and eternally optimistic. Please do not confuse that with being naive. I think it's influenced a little bit by what I've been reading lately, because I'm reading a lot about optimism, about humankind, about a hopeful history. That's a book by a Dutch writer and philosopher whose name is Rutger Bregman, and
I'm taking notes. This is so cool.
His book is called Humankind: A Hopeful History, and it shows that regular people can contribute, and they, through their gestures and their contribution, they change the world. And it's very interesting. It's not about amazing historical events or people whose names went down in history. It's just regular people bringing their own contribution, pretty much what we are.
Yes.
And making the world a better place. So yeah, eternally optimistic, not naive. I like to think that I'm open-minded. I'm still working on that in some ways. I like that I'm open-minded because I think I can learn. So if it's connected to learning about people, hearing other people's stories, hearing what they think about specific things, that helps me a lot. So this is why I think I'm open-minded. And through my professional experience, I'm really challenged when it comes to that, because I'm also human. And the last one is I'm organized. I'm extremely organized, and I like that a lot about myself. Unfortunately, I develop a lot of systems that I don't use, so I change them every time, and I keep being organized.
Right. Yes. That's one of the signs of open-mindedness. You keep working on something, everything is work in progress.
Let's say that, you're very kind. I'm just organized, but I think it extends to a limited time, right? 1 or 2 weeks, and then I go back and I change the system and I start all over again. So this is me.
Yeah. No, I do understand you. We do have something in common, and we're both fire signs. So I do understand, and I agree with you. It's really how you put it. Optimistic. Don't confuse me with naive.
Mm-hmm.
It's so beautiful, the precision.
Right? Because that's humanity, and we have to be optimistic, specifically now, or especially now. We are all going through our own personal problems and deals and paranoia and all that.
Yes, so true.
Yeah.
Simona, I've known you for, as I said, a bit about 10 years or so, and the time that I've known you, you've been a
And
student.
I can remember what you were wearing and the place. I have photographic memory all of a sudden.
So cool.
You were vegetarian food. Yeah. And you were very proud of yourself.
Yes.
And very talkative and optimistic as you are now.
Okay, let's talk about you.
Okay.
You're my interviewee, so I'm curious about what you're thinking about some other things. But just to get us going, for the time that I've known you, you've always been a student.
Yeah, that's all I am.
You're studying now for a master's, from what I know. And so I want you to tell me how how do you feel yourself always studying, always in the mode of, aha, oh, I didn't know about that. That's so. How does you choose this path? Actually, that's the question.
Explain my studying. Well, some people have the gym, exercising. Some people have studying. No, we are all obsessed with specific things, right? I don't go to the gym that often, so I'm studying to make up for that. It's my passion. And ever since I started learning, I realized I liked it. And I think right at the beginning, my Canadian journey, the beginning of my Canadian journey, I read somewhere that we are living in a world where we are supposed to learn all the time. You know, so I don't know. It stuck with me, and besides the fact that I enjoy studying, it's also the idea that it helps me advance professionally. So I'm very realistic about that because I'm studying to get somewhere. You know, unfortunately, my plans keep changing, but that's another issue. So I'm connecting my passion for learning with my practical side, my professional side, in order to help myself advance in life. Up to a moment when I will stop because lately I've noticed that it's kind of difficult to keep studying. Yeah, there are too many distractions, there are too many things that have to be taken care of. So, yeah. I learn to advance. I learn to broaden my mind, to open my mind. I learn because I like it. And as I was telling you, it's my exercise. Exercise. Yeah. And I've actually studied a lot of stuff, and I tried to, because I thought, you know, as, as, as you grow older, you learn a lot about yourself. And you also want to know if you've made wrong choices along the way. Since studying was easy for me, I thought, okay, maybe it would be an idea for me to change a little bit the course of my life, my professional life a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see if I'm good at anything else. And I tried something else, and I'm gonna tell you what it is because actually I've made a point of finding a little bit the history of my Canadian path. So I registered to École Nationale d'Administration Publique a number of years ago, and then I stopped. Yeah, because it was not for me. That was not me. So it was a bit of a failure, because I thought I could study anything. But the truth is, I can study specific things and things that I enjoy. And then, I got back to what apparently I'm good at, or I think I'm good at, teaching.
You are, of course. You're one of the best English language teachers that I've known.
No,
I
no,
have the
it's going to explode.
reputation back. We work
I
together.
go
You're
even
amazing.
longer because this is my COVID hair. I never get
You
back.
have a great sense of humor, and there is this the modesty that comes together with this really cool self confidence, and that's what I like about you, Simona. But
I was really
I know
thinking
that
about that, about being a teacher, and having permanently having a raised eyebrow. So that's why. Be careful what you tell me, because I'm gonna break it at the end. I'm joking.
that Simona she always makes me laugh. An amazing soul. But what I had this really cool question that I think you're gonna like it too. I hope you're gonna like it too. You are originally from Brasov, beautiful Brasov from Romania,
Mhm,
and you had done a bachelor in languages before you came to Canada.
mhm.
Then you studied a lot in Canada. And I would like for you to talk a bit about what you like and what you dislike um, in the higher education realm here in Canada.
Oh,
Sit
there's so
compare.
many things to enjoy about studying here. As, especially, well, I'm a little bit biased because I know I'm an Anglophile more than anything else. English, my love.
Right, Anglophile. That's true.
Yeah, yeah. And I want to consider myself an Anglophone as well because I love English. English is simply the best, right? I don't know what I'm doing here in Quebec, but anyway. So I'm thinking about higher learning in English.
Okay.
And I want to tell you that what I enjoy the most about studying here is, besides the theoretical part of learning, and you learn about all the learning theories, and you learn a lot of abstract notions. Over here, you get the chance. to see the practical side of teaching.
Mhm.
One of my first courses at the university was what really struck me as something unusual, with a teacher telling us, my first experience in front of students was like this and like this and like this. And then after I finished teaching, I realized that I had made the worst choice of clothes possible because I wore a t-shirt without sleeves, and I kept sweating, and the sweat kept going down. That's not my experience. That's my teacher's experience. And and then I thought, okay, when I'm gonna teach students about this, I'm gonna make them think a little bit about the outside aspect of a teacher as well. Because what you have in your mind, nobody can see. Well, people can listen to you, but when it comes to this, you know, this was one of the practical things, something I had never considered. So it was really fascinating for me to see you know, teachers are humans, right? They have flaws. They have
So
things.
in Romania and me in Moldova, we were so close there.
There's
We
always
spoke
being
about abstract terms
right.
and pedagogy and theories, and no one would tell you,
Nothing
please
hard.
wear a long sleeved
Yeah.
shirt.
Yeah. Please
Exactly.
consider this. Consider where you're going.
Okay.
Consider what
So
you're
the human
wearing.
being is there from all the from our factors and the clothes and the way you talk and the way you eat
Exactly.
and the way you interact with parents.
Because
So interesting.
you're not evaluated only on what you know. You're
Yes.
evaluated on how you behave as a human being, and you have to be. You don't place yourself above anybody else. You're not above your students. You're in the middle of this, so you're along them, right?
So
You
cool.
participate. You are inside this experience of teaching because you are teaching them, but you're also learning at the same time, right? There's always something to
Exactly.
learn from other people, right?
Yeah.
So this is one big difference that I noticed. I noticed that a little bit on the French side. Well, depending on the level, I guess, it's still a little bit stuck as the European education system, stuck in this idea that the teacher is above students. The
Okay.
teacher knows a lot. I don't know if it's more about the teacher having his own set of emotions, constraints and all that. But there's still a difference between university level French teachers and university level English teachers when it comes to this. They're not extremely approachable. I think on the French side, you don't know how to address them. You don't know how to talk to them. Well, for the English side, it takes just a second, and you say hi, and you get the answer to your
Yeah,
question.
they're a bit more approachable. Yeah. Well, I think I've had francophone teachers who've been more approachable than anglophones. Maybe some
Okay.
depends on the character and the
Yeah.
personality. Also, I only studied at Concordia. You studied also on the French side, so you have more something to compare with.
Were your French teachers second French? Were they teaching French as a second language, or were they themselves?
So when I did my bachelor translation, I had the francophone teachers teaching translation into French, and the anglophones teaching for translation into English.
It's nice for me because I identify with both sides, right? I'm not criticizing. I'm just I like the English approach. I wish I were more like that. I'm learning to be like that because I'm more like the others. So I'm not
Ah,
because
okay.
people are informed on both sides. So this is not a question. But I have this tendency to feel that Anglophones and Anglophiles are a little bit more approachable, or maybe I know how to talk to them. I don't know.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
I don't know.
Maybe inside we feel a bit more relaxed because our language skills is better.
Yeah,
Could be, it
they
could
know how to
be.
showcase themselves differently. They're human.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
It's as if this Elena who's Anglophone is a bit different than Elena who was Romanian or the one
did
is a
you
bit.
know that apparently we are different in different languages? Our
You told me
personality.
that. You're the one who gave me this quote.
Yeah, it was so amazing for me, and then I realized it might be true, because I have the feeling even my mouth moves differently when I speak French because I speak a little bit less than English, obviously. And I'm a little bit chipper. I'm more optimistic, but in English I'm always organized. I have to think before I speak. I have to, although I'm not translating anymore as I used to do at the beginning. So now English is my second first language a little bit.
Right. Yes, yes, yes.
To my shame, I kind of I've kind of stepped away from anything else. I don't watch French TV. I don't watch Romanian TV. I only watch English TV.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
to shock
yeah.
you, of course, I watch US TV, which is crazy. So I'm an immigrant living in French Canada,
You
watching
like a what?
TV. So there's not gonna
Okay.
do anything. I have more information about the US than I have about where I live or where I used to live. So that's me. Okay. If there's
You
something,
like American TV. You
sorry.
like American TV.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know if I ever thought of myself. No, I knew that I loved English, right? My first plan, well, it's a bit of a story that goes with that. You know, we are influenced by what we see in our families and all that. So in my family, there was a cousin of mine who was a little bit, obviously, she was older than me, and she left Romania to go to live into a different country. So I think that influenced me a lot because my whole plan the plan that I had for my life was to go somewhere else. I don't know why. I don't know where. I didn't know where at the time. Well, actually, I thought about Germany. I think it reflected a little bit my personality, and I'm gonna scare people with that. Anyways, I thought it would be Germany, but finally I came here, and I'm okay with that. Now I'm okay with that. Because
How
I
long
learned
ago did you?
German, right? I tried to learn German, but that's a good language.
Yes, yes, I remember you told me. How long ago did you come to Quebec, Simona?
It's been 14 years. I'm going on 14 years. My.
Yeah,
Look at
yeah.
that.
Same as me. Okay, okay. Do you miss Russia?
31st of 2005 to get here on the first January 1st of 2006. There was only me and the crazy people on the plane.
Did they say that?
Any trip ever, anywhere. So that was interesting too. And with the turbulences and with the shocked lady beside me who was, I think, half dead, she kept saying, I heard her. Well, obviously, someone who speaks languages understands other languages as well. She kept mentioning, or she kept whispering in Portuguese, Dios, vamos a morir. And I kept saying to myself, oh no, not today, come on. Luckily for me, I was in a French plane. They had a lot of wine, and I gave people enough wine just to be anesthetized. It helped to have that much wine available and Dios beside me, threatening threatening me with dying.
Wow,
No, I
wow.
don't
So
want to die.
you actually do remember these little details that happened 14 years ago on the plane about this Portuguese lady.
Of
Who,
course.
it's really cool. You have like a descriptive mind, right? And my mind,
Mhm. Yes, I guess I pay attention to details like that, and they get. I think I remember moments where when I was afraid, of course, like anyone else and like everyone else,
yeah.
and this organic details regarding that, and I do remember the lady was okay afterwards. She didn't drink wine like me, so she was less okay. But that's me coming to Canada 14 years ago.
Okay, okay.
My
So
learning
now,
path.
so now, so now a soulful question for you. What would Simona from 2020 tell Simona from 2006 who was flying to a new country?
I'm a little bit of a tough love believer, right? So I keep myself a little bit
Tough love.
up. Yeah, yeah. I believe in tough love a bit. With myself, not with other people, right? I think that people learn if they are told, if they're motivated, if they're not. I would talk to that Simona and tell her, you know what? You can get where you want to be a little bit faster if just if you don't give up because doors keep closing in front of you as an immigrant, and if you get stuck behind those doors, then you never move on, right? Okay.
Okay.
I'm competitive, so I guess for me it works a lot when someone tells me you're never gonna do that because that's when I'm gonna do it.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I really enjoy a challenge. So when someone tells me I'm not up for that, oh, watch me. Yeah. So I guess I would just remind myself that everywhere people are okay. You just have to believe in yourself. You have to push yourself a little bit because when you're young, you're supposed to push yourself a lot more than like I get pushed myself at the time. You should never give up. You should never waste time. And well, I wish I were further along my plans, because I'm not that far. I'm just a teacher, so I'm not doing anything special.
Just the teacher. You're one of the best teachers.
I could have been a little bit further along in my life, if I had known all this. Had I known all this, just to have a past perfect reversed. Yeah. You? What would you tell?
This is really cool. It's a good question. Even I asked myself this as I prepared for the interview because I said to myself, I'm going to have to take Simona's flow, but you are in a bit of a playful mood, so I wanted to
To get
go
grounded?
side of the conversation more. I do agree with you. This idea of never giving up, I think, is the strongest. Also, we're strong people. I find Eastern Europeans, we've been our genetical code, we've been through wars and famines, so we do not give up easily.
Yes,
Usually we
we've
bounce
been
back
challenged,
like
right? And we've been told we're not good enough at specific things. We've been told
yes,
that
yes,
some things are not for us, and this cut a little bit more into our dreams. We don't live our complete dreams because we have that shame or
exactly,
that feeling of not being adequate, that feeling of not
exactly.
being
You're
capable.
so good.
It's really sad,
It's really sad.
right? It's really sad. But on the reverse side, it's also sad to give hope to people, too much hope to people that cannot live their dreams. So that's sad as well, to encourage people to tell them, oh, you can do everything, when in fact they cannot do everything, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So that's also sad. But I guess it works differently. I think every one of us learns and adapts, and we learn differently, right?
I guess I have to say this. I've been reading this book by Gabby Bernstein, The Universe Has Your Back. And of course, as you would expect it, it's a book that really tells you you have to open and have no fear, have faith and stuff. And so I love how she says that the actionable dreams are the dreams that life is made of. And the word actionable actually brings this word dream from the air to the ground. So if you have a dream, I want to buy a house, but you don't do nothing about it, it's a dream somewhere out there. Whereas actionable would be start looking online at listings, go talk to the bank, like, and so actionable dreams to me it's
Take
so
steps
cool because
to reach there, to reach your dream, right?
yeah, yeah, I want it,
Being
but what am I
proactive,
doing to get there? Maybe it's gonna take me 5 years, but I'm doing some small steps.
of course.
So yeah, so cool, so cool. Okay, okay. So that's
You learn
something that
to move forward, right? You take steps to better yourself,
yeah,
right? Even if it's
yeah,
for a
yeah.
practical reason, like buying a house. Who doesn't want one? Right.
Um,
So
you told us that you're eternally optimistic, and I so agree with you. You're one of the most optimistic friends of all the cohort of amazing
life has
ladies I
not
have
been
around me.
always easy for me, right? But I guess it has been easy
Exactly, that's the
for
question.
other people.
When did you become this way? When when did you say, okay, I have to take a stand in life, otherwise I'm gonna drown? When did you become?
I think I've always been like this. I think it's a character trait. It's something that has been with me forever because there's a period when everything goes wrong, and after that there's always there's always sun on my street. So I was
Yes,
lucky.
yes, yes. Highs and lows.
Hmm. The highs and lows of life are always there. Right. I've learned, however, that the thing that could affect me the most are things that are related to health because there's a helplessness in being sick,
Yes,
and that's the tough side of life for me. People that I love being sick,
yes,
myself being sick, that's the worst that can happen. But for the rest, broke or not, you get back on track. You keep working. You never give up, and I'm learning to have no fear, as you say. Although my fears are following me all over the place. So yeah,
yes, yes.
you are you
No,
you are also an optimistic person. Although you are more expressive than me, right?
yes.
You
Yeah,
share a lot of what
I
is
became
good.
much later.
You share a lot of what is bad. You're true to yourself, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Yes, yes, yes. I think that I really stepped into myself after I had the kids about 35,
Hmm.
36.
I guess
I
it
somehow
changes
I
your
decided that
perspective a lot, right?
yes,
In your own
yes,
kids.
yes, yes, yes. With the kids, whatever happens in life, anyway, you come home and you have to take care of them. So you know what, you don't really have the luxury to really go deep in your depression and say to yourself again and again, how good I am, and self pity parties where I couldn't do it.
Mhm.
So you know, had to snap out of it, and you have to
Although
be
it's your life, it's your party. You can cry if you want to. It's your life. Doesn't matter.
Oh,
I read,
we
I'm reading
knew
a
it.
lot about, that toxic
The drama.
positivity. It's kind of idiotic to be always optimistic, right? But I am optimistic by by traits, by personality. Let's say I'm optimistic because I'm optimistic. Although I realize that there are bad things in life, and I told you, health-related stuff are the worst. But I hate
Yeah,
toxic positivity. No, sometimes things are not going to be okay. You
exactly.
have to be realistic, and it can be destructive to your mental health to think that everything will be okay. No, sometimes it's not going to be okay, but you're going to survive. You're going to get over that. And it's okay to be sad. It's okay to cry your eyes out. It's okay to be you and to be angry
Exactly.
in the confinement of your own house because you're going to scare people. Right? I think Eastern Europeans, we have a lot of emotion. And you don't want to.
Can be angry, but angry beautiful.
the, right. But it's okay to be upset
Yeah,
with what life gave you. It's okay to be upset with what's not working.
yeah,
Maybe not to
so
fight.
true.
I guess this is a lot. This has a lot to do with how you were raised. I grew up in a family where fights were similar to Italian fights. Two parents were very quick and aggressive, and my life partner, my husband is not the same. I'm like my parents, and he probably is like his parents, and he doesn't react. So I throw something hurtful towards him, and he doesn't reply with the same strength. And it's
What for you? He doesn't want.
a bit, right? I have to go home and recharge my batteries. I cannot be on anymore. He calmed me down, I guess, in many ways.
Yes,
It's an
because
interesting combination, right? To see people who don't
yes,
react to your most hurtful words, because there are hurtful words, right? And then you guess it's gonna be okay. You get that it's gonna be okay, and then you ask yourself, why am I doing all this? Because anyway, it's gonna be okay, right?
yes, it's
So
true.
yeah, live and learn.
So then, my next question was, how do you face problems in life? What
Mm,
is your thinking? Do you have a
yeah,
thinking
I try to,
problem? Do you
think
touch
it
it? Do
depends
you?
on problems, right? I guess I always try to find the funny side of everything. It's the ridiculousness of everything because there's always something that makes it fun. So I want to I life is a funny joke, right? Because like Woody Allen says, tell God your plans to make him laugh, right? That's life and life's experiences. So what I'm trying to do is, if the problem is serious, approach it in a serious manner.
I can hear you very well. I took you indoors.
Sorry.
Okay, I think that's better. I
Okay.
took you indoors in my house. So I think
With a sense of humor and with optimism. That's me and life's problems. I'm trying to do my best
that's
to,
a
to,
humor.
to find solutions, right? And I guess in many ways, this is something that I've noticed and I've been told that I always have a plan B. So I have plan A, which might or might not work, even in the most optimistic of the situations, in the most positive context. I have a plan A and plan B. I always have to have a solution to fall back on if things don't work my way. So that's why
Yeah.
École Nationale d'Administration Publique didn't work out, so I got back to teaching. After being a lot of other things, right? I didn't start by being a teacher. It took me about 2 years to become a teacher. So for anyone who's listening and thinks that some people have their life figured out, that's not the case.
Yeah, yeah.
And if you're drowning right now, don't worry, you're gonna get back to the surface. That's how it is. Yeah, I do have my moments of crazy optimism and moments when I kept crying like a crazy person. Crying on the subway and having older gentlemen come to me and say, "It's gonna be okay, baby. It's gonna be okay."
Oh my God, that's so
Right?
cool.
Yeah, yeah. I frequently had people who came to encourage me. I think this is why I like Canada so much. Even if people are not extremely warm, they are there when it matters. So
Yes, yes, it's true. It's true.
that in that way, right? Yeah. So,
Since we speak about people, let's speak a bit about relationships.
so with people,
I feel strongly about that. I remember I told you. that this is what life is made of. This is where we cry. This is where we laugh, where we find happiness, where we find pain.
when
And
we where we find therapy a bit, right? Because when
therapy is
yeah,
true. It cures us of some illnesses, demons that we
the
have in our.
illnesses of life, right?
Yeah. Is there a one relationship in your life that really impacted you in one way or another, and years later you said, "Oh my God, this girl or this person or this man really made me look at life differently."
All of them in different ways, right? It starts with family, it starts with mothers, it starts with fathers. I had a mother who I guess she lived a very stressed life, right? I, mm, maybe my dad is an amazing man, but he's a man of a different generation, and he contributed, but not as much as my mother needed to contribute to raising children, to family life. Although he was a great dad. I don't know if he was an excellent husband, though. That's not for me to comment on. So yeah, it started with my mom, and I guess that's why I think this side of me being funny and trying to lift the mood around me comes from there, because I try to help my mom always be in a good mood, and I was like a little bit of a clown around her, trying to lift her spirits and all that. But my brother is the same. So I guess it's something of it was a bit of a contest, maybe to get my mom's attention a bit. We were trying to be funnier, to do that. My mom, an extraordinary influence on me. I have, because in Romania we lived a lot like a different kind of community life, right? We had people from the outside. They were not necessarily relatives, but they were close to us, and they lived our experiences. Then they were in our family. They knew our problems. They were very close, maybe closer than family if they lived further. So my neighbor, who actually died, yeah, it was my mom. She was actually a little bit older than my mom, but I always felt her like another mom.
Okay.
And yeah, it still breaks my heart thinking about her. She was. Yeah, let's move on. Okay, after my mom, I have a friend that I met in when I was 6 years old. I have a friend,
Mhm.
has been my friend ever since, since our first days in school, and she's still my friend. And I love the fact that we live in different places, in different countries, on different continents. But she's so amazing. She has evolved. She's extremely feminine. She has this this thing that we talked after many years, many months, many weeks, and it's still the same.
So you've been about
You know, well,
in
women,
school.
because the women in my family have a strong influence on everything. So
Okay.
I have
Okay.
less male influences, I guess.
Okay.
After that, the male influences I have come from teachers, from my dad, more or less. But it was only when I started growing up a little bit further, and going through after my rebellious stage in life, where I could talk to my dad and realize that I'm a lot like my dad as opposed to my mom. And we contemplate life a lot more. My mom is more reactive. We are thinking.
Okay.
We are doing all this. So of course my dad, my Romanian teacher. Um, Up to one age, I was convinced that you can never have friends that are male, but you can. So I have
Yes,
a guy that
I agree with you.
not in my life that much anymore, but at the time he was like a brother to me. So he was a great influence. And then love. What can you say about love? Love is love is love is love. Yeah, those are different aspects of, I guess, every
Okay.
individual's.
I lost you for a minute there.
Again, oh my, I have to repeat myself. So male influences, female influences. I was lucky to have a lot of beautiful people in my life. And now, for 10 years, I've had you. And I have here in Canada a number of people that I love and appreciate a lot. But a part of me stayed in Romania. A part of me came here. So I'm in some ways I'm a different person than I used to be there. So I realize that. And in my
Let's talk
mind,
about
since
that.
I was once broke from them, right? I'm uh, I'm I'm stuck in 2005. Well, people evolve, of course. Well, concerning
Right.
my relationship with people in Romania, I have the same image of them, of what I left behind. So a relationship that is not maintained cannot evolve organically, right? It evolves, but in different ways. You're in bits and pieces of someone's life. You have no idea what they're doing.
Yes.
When you are in their life every day, it's different, right? So my friends are young forever in Romania, and here I made other friends.
That's interesting. Okay, okay. It's beautiful. I hear you as a very flexible person in relationships, and you accept what comes
Learned
without
that because I
thinking.
had moments when, maybe my dark moments, when I was jealous because their life was moving differently from mine. Not on them, because they deserve the best in the world, just by their experiences. I was amazed by their experiences, because I couldn't partake. I couldn't be part of their journey, so, and I couldn't blame anyone else but myself, because it was my choice to break myself away from them. So a lot of things to consider, right? I was jealous of their evolution in this way, not because they don't deserve the best, and I wish them the best, of course.
I understand.
It's tough. It's
Okay.
tough to see that they're moving on in different ways away from you. And for about 2 years, my life didn't evolve in any way. So, right, my
Okay.
experiences were a little bit worse than theirs.
Expected.
Let's say, yeah. If I were to explain, the fact that I was alone here. When I came here, my husband had a lot of friends who, in time, started moving in different parts of Canada or across the world. But I was completely alone. So for 2 years, I had to live with this, and a little bit of a punishment, a little bit of a reward for the fact that I'm not part of their life, but it's my choice. I cannot complain about that, and I have to evolve, and I have to find a way to be happy with my life, so with myself.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Holding grudges against anything, against life, people.
Yeah, yeah.
People
But
come and go.
I think that that's when you maybe fell in love with being by yourself because I think you're the only girlfriend that I have, and I have many girlfriends. You saw it at my party. I have pride in the fact that I have so
That's
many.
the truth.
And you are the only one who loves being alone. You enjoy being alone. You thrive being alone. You read books. You watch. You're so happy there. Have you always been this way? Or-
No, no. I guess this is something that I've learned, but I really enjoy it because I can hear my thoughts,
Yeah.
and there's no one that can be as tough as I am on myself. Sometimes I'm punishing myself for different stuff, but I enjoy being alone because I can think, and I've learned a lot of things that I couldn't have learned in a different context. I was part of a group who was always going out doing stuff, being together. I guess I discovered that probably because of my friends, I didn't have to work at making friends. People were gravitating maybe towards them, and then they got the chance to meet me, and they stayed by my side because they like me too. But I didn't fight for friendships, right? So I didn't go on the outside to fight for people, and I had no idea how to make friends as an adult in many ways. Yeah, that's what it is. It
Yeah,
is what
but
it
some
is.
people have no idea how to make friends. They don't even know about it.
Yeah, yeah. I have no idea how to make friends. Well, I guess I'm no. It's funny because if you're not work, you make friends with the people at work. So I have a couple of friends, but it's very interesting that I'm close to people who are so old. My God, my parents' age, and I think, okay, is it my mentality? Is it my personality? Because people take me seriously, So
Or both.
because this is probably the side that I broadcast in front of people. Because otherwise, I'm crazy, and I write rock music, and I do stuff that are, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
a personality where you are
Yeah,
around
I wear my mask,
talk to a grandma and she's gonna love you. And
right? This is the mask that I wear in public. Being serious. My mom told me, be a serious person, be responsible.
yeah, that's Eastern European education, of course.
Yes,
Okay.
of not shaming your family, of not doing stuff that are inappropriate in public or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Simona, we were half through the questions. We're going really beautifully. Um,
Thank
I
you.
have this question that's connected more to the education.
Mhm.
So, education is a concept in society. It's being discussed a lot now. You can see it yourself. And we know that in Finland, for example, they're thinking of abolishing altogether homework for kids in school. And tell me what you think about that. This reform in
I've
education.
been told that I have a very expressive face, and I have my concerns about this. All right, northern countries, their system, their education. But give you an example where you can master something, a notion, without practicing it, right? In order to learn how to swim, you have to practice. In order to learn how to drive, you have to practice. So I'm a little bit on the fence concerning this. Maybe there are skills that for which you do not have to practice. But I do believe that things have to be repeated and reinforced a bit in order to make sure that they stay with you, that you remember them. Because this is how my memory works. I don't know if it works for everyone else. So you're asking me about Finland. They don't give homework. They don't do that. I guess when you have children, your perspective changes about this. And this is a different era, so it's not very similar to what we had. While we were growing up, we had family life and nothing else, right? So learning was your way of stepping outside yourself, outside your family, outside the knowledge of your family or the values of your family. But now children are a bit disenchanted with school, and this is what I've noticed. They are disenchanted because they can learn anywhere and everywhere, right? It's different. So learning, it's not limited to a classroom.
So true.
Yes, so this is why Finland, I think it's successful in its approach, but I would not give up on giving homework, because um, in my mind, depending on the age, depending on their achievements and all that, it is important to reinforce, to study a little bit the correlation between academic success and homework, if that's the case. People want to be successful academically. They have to go back and revise a little bit, the notions that they're learning. Maybe not the amount of homework that we used to have, because I do remember
Yes.
it extended to 6 hours a day. That's torture. But it brings a little bit the sense of responsibility, right?
Yes.
Because children after school, like parents, they have their, I think it facilitates their experience in life. It helps them understand that everyone has a bit of responsibility,
Yes.
and it's important to have a little bit of responsibility starting at a young age. It's something that you build on. People
I agree.
at our level, and I'm not talking about rich people, and maybe people at a different level have different values, but it's important to learn that there are responsibilities that have to be faced, that have to be acknowledged in life, in learning, in everything, in relationship with people. You cannot be in a relationship where someone gives and the other one doesn't get anything in return, right?
Exactly.
So I'm taking this a little bit further than I should, maybe. But homework is not, it doesn't guarantee, the idea of academic success. But I think it's important. It's important because it creates this routine of challenging yourself, of recognizing the idea that you have to work to get your success in life. Nothing comes to you out of the blue. At least for regular people, right? I'm not talking about, because you always know, when I try to explain this to people, a lot of them say, well, but look at Bill, not necessarily Bill Gates, maybe, well, he was an academic, so the guy was a genius. Look at Steve Jobs. He didn't have to finish school. Look at Einstein. He didn't have he was not a very good student. Yes,
Yeah.
but these people represent only about 2% of students, right?
Exactly.
What happens to the 98%? So I think, well, I guess this is me. It's
No,
important.
no, you're right, Simona. I'm gonna just wrap up because as a parent, the point of responsibility you mentioned, this is the most important for me because my kid is 6 year old and he's unloading the dishwasher and he loves it because it's something that he does by himself. I'm not checking him because you cannot go wrong with taking dishes out of dishwasher.
You're raising your kids as I imagine raising kids. So
You know what? I think the responsibility part is something that I love the most. But also as a teacher, I want to just add that how do I know if that child understands that notion if I don't see them working on their own on it? How do I know that they got present perfect if they haven't written one sentence by themselves with present perfect? So then,
they haven't given me back an example.
and it's input as feedback. Have I done well or not? Okay, I'll try again and again because the kid didn't understand. That's my little,
A lot to we all start like a blank slate, right? As individuals. So I'm more a behaviorist than anything.
yes, we are more behaviorists.
Right? But I'm thinking about this. So you talk about learning and studying grammar. People say that it's not important in language studying to focus on grammar that much. Well, I'm a bit on the fence on this because I am a speaker of a second language, and I know that learning rules really sets the basis of a house. It's if you don't have a basis for everything, you cannot build on that. Your building is going to fall over. So I think I see grammar as something like that. The basis of understanding why you are using specific things and when you are using specific things and how you are using specific things.
Also, of
How do you
course,
go through English not knowing the irregular verbs, right?
Alicia, let's go to Alicia. Hi, Alex. Okay, so yeah, that was I think one of the most important questions I had for you.
It's inside your nose.
Then go to the terrace. Sorry, I have my kids with you. As a
Your kids,
free, but since we speak about teaching and learning, it's very. No, I think this one was one of the most important questions I want to discuss with you because you always have interesting points, and I know that even if they have 30 minutes of writing, of journaling to do, I find this so important because it's already this reflection on life is something I've started doing at university since last year, and it helps my life so much. I'm doing a graduate certificate, with Concordia, and almost every course the professor asks us to do reflections. Kiss Alice, say hi and go, man. And to Simona.
Hi, Simona.
Hi, Alex. How are you?
Good.
Good. Good.
So the professors want us to do reflections.
What you have studied and what you have
reflections. Yeah, and in that reflection, you actually
it's like homework, right?
It's a sort of homework, but it's really cool because I'm thinking what I've learned this week. Are there any questions that I have still raised in my mind? Is something I disagree with or agree with? Is there something that challenged me? Like it just pushes me to think about what I've thought about during class. And it's so cool. And I actually do
it's a different way. It's more interesting. It's homework.
Yeah, it's homework, but also it's so personal. And there is no mark connected with it, no judgment in any way. And
it helps them see how people learn, when they read that journal and they realize, okay, this person remembered this aspect, okay? It helps them create a curriculum that goes with it. Right?
Yeah, well, this is amazing for the teacher, as you said, right? Because the teacher, when she reads their respectance of the kids,
you have feedback from people that you're teaching. Right?
Yes. This is homework that I think would be a great idea to give to high school students.
Yeah. But interesting high school, interested high school students, right?
Not disenchanted.
Not disenchanted.
Exactly, the ones for still following.
That, everyone's gonna be an Instagram star instantly or a YouTube star.
Yes.
It's lovely. It's lovely to be like that, right? It's lovely to be naive and not naive. It's lovely to have such a pure soul. But life kicks you.
Yes.
As soon as you go outside the door. So yeah, it's better to raise realistic adults or children than it's okay to dream, but your dream should be reflected in reality a little bit.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Alicia, you have to go to
Yes. He don't want to open.
Daniel, could you please help me? I'm so sorry, Simona, about that. So sorry.
Hi, Dan.
Like I have to talk to my kids.
That's a mom's job, right? So it is what it is, right? As a
It is what it is.
guy.
I can't pretend to have a studio. I'm at home with my kids, and of course, I have to take this into consideration. But it's amazing talking to you about these things. There are important things, and there are something that makes me, take a stand. And I'm okay going to school and telling teachers what I think about this, because I think that we have to start being more active in community life, really start voicing our concerns. Because things are being
Right.
society without people don't ask us, the people in power, and I think it's important for us to be active and start really reacting to things.
We talk about we talked about teaching Chinese children about this. This would be an interesting experience for me because I guess Chinese students are a little bit closer to the kind of students we used to be when we grew up.
Yeah.
I think they have a lot of homework. I think they have a lot of responsibility. I remember a colleague of mine who used to teach for Chinese. She was teaching French to Chinese students. They were coming. They were immigrants coming from straight from China, and she was telling me how impressed she was with how fast they were advancing. And honestly, I think this has a lot to do with this repetition, practice, homework, um, involvement in school. So I'm curious to make a comparison a little bit. I like the fact that over here, children communicate a lot, children learn from each other. But I've always had my my concerns related to group work, right? My
Yeah.
opinion is about group work. In a group, there's going to be one who works a little bit more, one who works a little bit less, and the grade is going to be the same.
Yes.
So how will you motivate the one that does the work, right? As it happens with everything, if people can do less work and have more rewards, they
They will do it. They
definitely
will think it's human nature.
prefer that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Because there are priorities in life, and you can see in group work.
But I guess it has a lot of
Who-
competition, right? So if you encourage competition, you create a little bit of performance, in my opinion. I don't know, maybe I'm biased concerning this. I don't see a lot of competition in this
It's true.
in this approach right now.
Very low collaboration, teamwork.
And I'm afraid, again, I don't know if I'm right because I don't hold any truths. I think, but where there's no competition, there's no progress. That's how I see it, right? So you are just creating a number of people who are compliant, following the rules, and that's about it.
Exactly.
Which might be good, but you have to create free thinkers,
Leaders, visionaries.
right?
Exactly.
Children who read text and understand and ask questions regarding that. And
Exactly.
I'm not sure if I'm right again. So, but that's
Education is one of the most fascinating of what we have in a society, but also underrated and underfunded. And it's such a pity. And I have no idea what could be done for us as a society to really push this forward and say, no, 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 this is the most important thing in society, not pharmaceutical
it
industry,
should be done differently. Yeah, maybe it should be done differently. I think the approach should be different. But you see, yeah, I'm thinking also that if you eliminate all exams and all that, there's not going to be a standard for a lot of things, and we do learn because we are forced at one point in our life, right? So I'm not sure, but it should evolve in a different way. It should be more personal. It should be, and it should be. I don't know. Not. It should be more focused on free thinking in
Yeah.
creating people who have opinions about stuff, who have experiences, who see or hear other people's experiences. If
Yeah.
you are closed in our bubble there, we'll never see the world, we'll never understand what's going on around us. So it's different. What I'm doing right now, as a teacher, this is what's interesting. Every year is different. There are definitely better years than others. Lately, there's a difference in the quality of teaching, of school, of students, and that's why I think it should always progress, learning and the approach to learning and studying. And I think online might work for some people, and it should be considered, right? If it works for some people, why not? I think it would prevent bullying and all sorts of issues like that.
A
But
hybrid solution would be much better, blended, online and in person.
yes, in a way,
Maybe some people will be comfortable online, a little less comfortable in person, or vice versa. But
yeah,
then in the end, there will be a 90% of learning happening
yeah.
one way or
It will
another.
help everyone evolve. You have no
Exactly.
idea. For me, this experience has been amazing. I've seen students who are very shy in class who thrived online. So it was really amazing to see that the most motivated student of mine was the one who was not uttering a word in class, right? He was the first one who finished everything, and so fast and so impressive. And to see the progression, it was such a different thing to see, right? So, yeah. Because as
Yeah.
a student, maybe in life I'm not so assertive, or maybe people say I am, but in class I was assertive, right? So I didn't feel this drawback of not being able to talk in front of other people, or being afraid of teachers. No, when it came to being prepared and going in front of people, I could do that as a student, of course. But now I realize that there are students who cannot do that, right? So they deserve their chance, of course, and
Yeah.
I love my students, but they are
Yeah.
different. Every year they are different. They come from different backgrounds, and that's I'm a little bit, because I hear more and more sad life stories, and I think, oh my god, I'm actually privileged.
Yeah.
I've lived an enchanted life
Yes. Yes. Yes.
as opposed to others.
So I want to go back a bit to you coming from Romania, 14 years here in Quebec, eternal learner and eternal optimist, someone who really learns from life. And tell me, please, do you miss Romania? Do you miss Brasov?
Yes, yes, I miss some parts. I miss, well, these are my roots. No matter how much I claim to be of a different place, I'm a citizen of the world. I claim to be a citizen of the world. Oh yes, of course. I miss places. I miss smells. Tastes, and even the basic things. I miss them. But as life evolves, I also notice that there are not. I will go back, and I will not find the people that I used to get my energy from. And this saddens me. I'm a bit of a person that I live in the moment. I prefer not to have regrets, so I stay away from that. So yes, I miss Romania, but I miss the people that I lost. And this is life, and there's nothing that can bring back those people. So yeah, I'm lucky to have my mom and dad, and they're there, and they're thriving. I guess not having kids at home is an advantage because they're doing stuff, and I admire them for that. I had no idea that my parents were so hip. They moved to a new city. They've started a new life. They go to concerts. They take walks. They you know
So nice. It's so
soon
nice.
they're gonna learn English. So my mom already speaks English because she watches a lot. No, I'm joking.
I wouldn't be surprised actually.
Fun thing because my dad is a smart guy, and but I was trying to teach him English at one point, and he kept saying, I don't know, business is business, person to person, which is business to business, people to person. But it wasn't fun, so it was only meant yeah.
Oh,
Why should I
that's-
say it differently when it's written like this? So
Yes, true, because Romanian we read all the letters. We don't have to think too much.
yeah, so yes, I miss Romania from that standpoint. But I don't recognize Romania because Romania is a European country. It has become a European country. It has evolved a lot. It's such an amazing place to be in. It's so different. I grew up there, and when I go back, there are places I don't recognize. It's full of flowers because I usually go in the summer. Is evolved. There are so many buildings, so many businesses, so many interesting people. Oh my God, it's amazing. It's Europe. Well here, well, the people that and you are used to this reality, But when you compare it to that reality, they have all sorts of knowledge about all sorts of things, and it's an experience. But I guess this is in a city more than anything else. This happens in the city. So yeah,
I've been to
I would
Brasov.
have to learn to live in Romania if I ever decide to go back. I would have to learn a lot of things, which is nice.
Brasov, I think it was 2002, 2003. I was in Brasov once to ski with some friends. And
Yeah, not so.
I didn't ski much. I'm chicken. I'm afraid of skiing. But yeah, but we walked and we hiked in the mountains, and I remember this amazing beauty and mild
Maybe
winter.
we saw each other then. You never know.
Sorry?
Maybe we saw each other then. You never know.
No, maybe. It was
I always
December.
think, I'm thinking about that. Maybe by chance, I met all the people that I know. Because now I have the feeling that all the people that I know should be known by all the people that I know. If I'm talking about someone, someone from Romania, I expect you to understand what I'm saying, but it's not the case. So, but, sometimes I forget.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Two more questions for you.
yeah, you have to go back to stuff. I never stop
Sorry?
talking. You have to go back to life. I never stop talking.
No, 1 hour and a half is great for a talk. It's a question more about Canada, about this 14 years of living here, and what do you appreciate the most about this country?
Well, my funny side would say, in Canada, women come first, and then dogs, and then kids, and men come last. So being a feminist, I appreciate that. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. I do love the fact that there's a lot of freedom for everyone, right, including for women. You can make decisions that affect you and help you advance or help you regress. You never know, but they're your choices, and I've been here as an adult, so you cannot compare the experience that I had over there as a child to the experience over here. There are many things to love. I love the people. I I love the fact that they're not mean. Canadians are not mean. We are mean to the core. We can be mean, my God, and hurtful. But
By we, you mean
yeah,
who? By we, you mean who?
yeah, of course, of course.
Who? Who?
Ah,
Eastern Europeans?
Eastern European in general, right? They can, well, if they want to give you a compliment, a backhanded compliment, yeah, you can always find something fun behind it, right?
You're right.
Our nature, and I do that, so of course. But over here, they're not like that. They're a bit. They have this. They are open minded, and they see only the good in people. But it's not the case. People are as they are, right? We have to accept them as they are. There are many opportunities. You have to seize them. You have to ask. You have to fight for what you want, and you have to keep studying to get to where you are. You have to improve.
So true. So true.
But I love Canada. I love a lot of things about Canada. And in my near future, I'm never even, well, except if I win the lottery and I will move to New Orleans forever and ever. But bye, people.
Yeah, I'll come visit you.
Yeah. That's the only plan that I have. That's it. If not, no other place than Canada.
The universe is hearing you.
Yeah, it's going to send me there in the middle of a hurricane. Yeah.
New Orleans is beautiful.
New Orleans, what an amazing place! It's my it's in many ways I see it as myself. There's a a part of mysticism, a part that is unevolved, right, and a part that is extremely European in a way, right? I don't have a lot of experience of visiting Europe, but this is my feeling, right? So if ever I win the lottery, I'll wait for you in New Orleans.
Nice. Sounds like a plan.
French
New
Quarter.
Orleans is
That's where I
the city
should
where
be.
jazz was invented?
So, I'm sorry?
Is that the city where jazz was invented?
Yes, the city where jazz was invented, the city where fun was invented. There's so much color. There's so much. Oh my God, this is probably what I like about the place. People are so friendly, And it's fun when they get a chill when it's 20 degrees, 22 degrees outside. They're all wearing winter coats, and it's so fun. Yay! I kept laughing and laughing. Oh my god, people are crazy. It's hot outside. Get out your t-shirts.
So
Yeah,
how come they wear their winter clothes? It's just
because it's cold for them. Usually at Christmas time, they wear t-shirts and shorts. And, imagine Christmas time without snow. I cannot imagine that. Right.
You get something you lose.
You get something, you lose something, right? It's very interesting. It's a very interesting place. I don't know. I felt. Do you go to a place where you feel like home? That's one of the places where I went, and I couldn't get enough of the smells, the people, the noises, the colors. It was me. My brain was was on. So that's what.
Yes,
In the
you have
meantime,
a traveling bug.
school.
You have a traveling bug. You like traveling.
Yes, yes,
You're very present in a new place.
yes. It doesn't happen in all places, right? But it happens a lot. It happened there, and I was absolutely impressed. So the next place on the list is Iceland.
Nice.
Yes, you see so many things that are interesting. That's the place.
Where interesting things happen, like women decide that they have to have the same wage as men. Everybody gets equal salary.
An evolved country, as we would say. But I go there mainly for nature and for
For
everything.
nature,
Yeah, and of course for the people who are extremely inclusive.
traveling is your hobby, the thing you like doing most.
Yes, 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 yes. But I like organized traveling a bit. I mean, every time that I plan on going somewhere, I'm a person that goes with lists, right? So I set down a number of places that I absolutely want to see, and after that is free. I'm freestyling.
Yeah, that's the best. It's blended. It's half organized and half free. It's the best.
I well, when you go somewhere, and I don't care because people think this is corny, to go to touristic places. I don't care. I like that. They're on the list. I've been there, and then I go to things that. Yeah, I used to dream about going to Machu Picchu, but not now, not this year. But Iceland is on the list. I'm looking at travels and plans, and you need about 10 days. I wanted to go to China before, but now I'm a little bit worried about how Canadians are perceived over there. So this is a new passion of mine, China. I know that, and I'm not talking about political context and all that, but I'm thinking this is a civilization that for millennia has brought all the new things to the world, including pasta, which I love, right? So
So interesting because we watched with the boys and my husband. We've watched 4 movies about martial arts. Okay, my guys, they do karate, they do their kata, and kata is like dance and fighting. And we watched it's about Ip Man. Ip Man is one of the best martial artists of the previous century. He died in 1973. So anyway, they made this movie. They recreated his life. And I'm just, I don't know. I said to myself, I'm in love with this code of honor and duty they have, with the dignity they live their lives. Their lives have purpose. They understand who the master is. They understand what serving is. That's so beautiful. And it does go a little bit of with my Vedic because I love the Vedic tradition, and they have this too. The life has a purpose, and you have a master. There are people you learn from. There are people who learn from you. We're all connected. It's so beautiful, and everything's being done with dignity and pride, transparency, and honesty. We need that in our lives. And I was watching. I was like, I love this martial arts rocks. you know?
yeah. It's an organized, and it organizes your brain, your thinking, your values, your everything, right? And it's in harmony with the body because we also have to think about that as well. It's interesting. This is why it's not Chinese products 'cause over there, people have different opinions, but civilization. Oh my God, they have invented everything. Everything that exists is from them. It's fascinating.
Exactly.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
The world is a fascinating place, right? That's why humankind, a hopeful history of the world, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We need that.
And my last question for you, my dear Simon.
Let's go ahead. Hit me.
So I know that you're a learner, an eternal optimistic learner, and sometimes life lessons are bitter and hard to swallow, and makes us cry, and we're depressed for a while, and then later we understand that it was supposed to be this way, and I became someone else because of that life lesson. What is that one or two life lessons that you had in life that made you who you are, and what happened? Of course, you don't have to give us all the details.
Thinking about one. So, for I always thought that if you make the right choices, if you do the right things, life will reward you. Life doesn't owe you absolutely nothing, right? So it's scary, but it's true. Life doesn't owe you absolutely anything. You're not special. Grow up, do your part. So that was the most important lesson for me, right? You create your own history. Nothing is given to you. If you can do it in a manner that brings you peace with yourself, I'm not going to go as far as saying being happy, because happiness, well, it is defined differently by different people. If it brings you peace, if you have the feeling that you've learned something, that's the most important thing. That life doesn't owe you anything. And life is absolutely not fair.
Yeah. And we usually we get that around 35. We're like, oh my God, I think it's time to stop pretending that somebody owes me something. No one ever, not life, not God, nobody owes you anything.
And guess about the second one, because you bring this up, it's learning to live with yourself, not to, you push yourself to learn new stuff, you push yourself to be different, to advance, to evolve. But at one point you have to accept certain parts you cannot change. You have to be good to yourself, to your being. Right?
Yeah.
I've always seen myself a little bit of in a dual way, body and mind. So you have to accept the limitations of your body, and you have to let your mind go free. So
Mhm.
and keep evolving.
Okay.
Right.
So then you said that happiness means different things to different people. What is
Yeah.
happiness to Simona?
Happiness, well, it depends on the day. Well, I define that having interesting conversations with very interesting people. That's something that makes me happy. A good cup of coffee, that makes me happy. Um, Good food makes me happy. People make me happy more than anything else. So this is also something that I keep learning. People bring me happiness.
Yeah.
Specific people present here.
Oh, thank you so much. I wish you do.
Yeah. And what's happiness to you?
Same as you, I think. I think this year I could say that people bring me happiness,
Mhm.
especially with the quarantine and the post-COVID reality.
Yeah.
Somehow I felt during the confinement how much we need each other. And I think that I renewed some friendship vows with some of my girls. I
We have
rediscovered.
time for the first time, besides this horrible event and whatever we all felt. Because I do remember the quiet. Remember the first days of March when everything closed down, and it's like the earth stood still for a moment.
Yeah,
For those of us who have not confronted, we were not confronted with the reality of this disease. It brought us a little bit of time, yeah,
yeah,
which we do not have usually. Time for people with children, time to be with their children, to learn about
yeah,
their children, to create a routine with it. I'm not saying that but this was a period that was necessary for certain people, to reevaluate a little bit their
exactly.
values. And unfortunately, I'm sure we're not going to learn anything as humanity when it comes to humanity. This is going to be a distant memory quite soon, right? And
You think we haven't been shaken?
no, not at all, not at all, right? If you look at how many people are ready to go back on cruises, to take cruises and all that, and
Yeah.
how many people want to go to Iceland but they shouldn't. Yeah, this is where we are. We haven't learned anything.
Hey, I'll have traveling plans for next year too. I wanna meet my family somewhere in Europe.
Yeah, see, see, what have we learned? Less air traffic, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
we live in our bubbles, but for a moment our bubble stopped and our bubble burst, and we were fortunate to be here because in other places it was much worse.
Yes, it's true. It's true. That's the thing. I think that number one thing that I started to really appreciate what I have and really be content and happy with what I have.
Yeah.
I think this year really taught me how to be in life as is. Have the less objections I have to life, the better I feel, and everyone around me is happier. That's number one, appreciation for what I have. And second one is being happy with simple life,
Hmm.
like real simple things, like reading a book and
Like,
watching my
especially
kids.
in your context, if you're happy, your family is happy, right? Yeah, all of us are
Exactly. Here
envy
too.
of bringing
Yeah, yeah. Mama is the
light
mama is
and
the oven.
happiness,
Mama is
right?
the oven of the family. You know, there must be some fire, slow fire, but it must be there. Of course, I knew that for a while now, but with the confinement, it was really hard to juggle all this. But I, I saw my kids growing. I saw.
Which was a moment to remember, right? And well, again, not in Canada, but I guess around the world, I've seen this as a lot of hardship for women in general, right? Taking care of the house, most of them working from home, taking all this heavy weight, on their shoulders.
Yeah, yeah. It's still happening. It's still happening, and
That's another reality.
it's yeah. Working from home, it's special. You have to really get organized. You have to start including your husband. It's a lot of starting to mold your routine so that you do have some time to breathe. So I tell my friends, tell your hubby to help. Don't be shy. Enough.
Ask
They-
for help, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Also something that we should learn, because sometimes we drown in everything, and we should ask for help
yes.
when the
So
weather
true.
gets to here, it's time.
So true.
Up to here, you should do something about it, right?
So basically, somebody asked me to give keywords of the interview with Simona. That would be never give, be
Never.
optimistic
Don't
but
be afraid.
realistic.
Start with don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. Never give up. Dream, but actionable dreams.
Mhm,
And um, try to be open minded.
mhm.
And don't think that somebody wants, to do something bad to you. No, 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 no. It's all in our minds.
Yes.
Nobody owes you anything. No one actually, thinks that much about you. Do what you need to do to be happy.
Should we go to the dark side and say, well, most people don't care
Just don't care.
about your being? Yeah, that's the
It's
reality.
fine. Do what makes you happy. Whatever you want to sing in the morning, sing in the morning. Of course,
And
if
love everybody. Love the people that you love even stronger, and love them more than before.
yeah,
Love.
well,
That's the solution to everything.
yeah, that's it. It's the most beautiful conclusion of a talk that you can imagine. Love. Thank you so much for being with me. It's always been
For thinking I'm interesting enough to have an interview like this. I had my
yeah.
apprehensions a little bit before because it's not, I stand in front of a class, but nobody watches me. So. Or nobody tapes me. Nobody has proof of what I've said. Yeah.
Now we have you. I'm going to have a video, I guess, on my YouTube channel, and I'll watch you again, 6 months from now.
Oh my God. You know that I think I'm never going to watch myself because I'm not.
I do. You should.
I don't. Well, sometimes I surprise myself. Maybe I should have said. I should have said that, and I shouldn't have said that. But no, I never go back. That's why no regrets.
I love videos.
You cannot change the past. You can only change the
Yeah,
future.
for sure, for sure. You know what I think of this soulful talks with Ellen? For me, it's like this little photo of a moment in time. You know,
Yeah.
it's as if it's stopping this day,
We'll go
and
back when I'll be 80, and I will wear red lipsticks. Lipstick a little bit.
okay, but
Purple.
even 2 years from now, we're gonna say, "Oh my God, we did that."
Life will definitely be different, right?
Yeah, it's experiences as memories, and it's like something that's building our
Why
life.
a thing to remember where when you are happy, when you feel that you're happy, enjoy it to the maximum because life changes everything, right? It's a moment in time should be enjoyed to the maximum.
Exactly.
The next one, we never know what might bring.
Yeah. Because it's black and white. We know that black, white, but black stripes, white stripes, and then the Buddhists they say you're happy, don't be too happy, it's temporary. You're in pain, you're sad, don't be too sad because it's temporary.
And read optimistic books. This is the moment to read optimistic books.
Yeah, thank you for that.
All of
So,
your
Vorba, humankind, a hopeful history.
Yeah, and the Sapiens, Yuval Noah Harari. Absolutely, it's a must.
Sapiens. Okay.
Sapiens: A Brief History of Humankind.
Yeah.
The big picture of humanity, with the funny stuff and the but it's a book that I kept reading, and I kept stopping and going back, and it's something that makes you reflect a lot about
Yeah.
Homo sapiens, about Homo Deus, and all that. It's a perspective, right? That, again,
Right. Thank you so much, Simona. I will check them out. I like this kind of book.
thank you. Well, I could keep
It's a
talking.
pleasure having you. Have an amazing rest of the day and a great
So
weekend. And we'll talk with you again
get
soon.
ready to find out what job I might have for the following years. That's a
Yes.
stressful time for me. The first 3 weeks of the school year, are
Tough.
challenging.
Yes,
I adapt until I
for sure. Good luck to you. Have a great, beautiful year. And keep your heart up and give us your optimism. And we'll love you, Simona. We'll
thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being my invité de mois d'août.
Le mois d'août. Mais oui, tout à fait.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.